Hello guys and welcome back to another YouTube video. So today we're going to be reviewing a top 10 champ game 1v1 on the ranked ladder that I played recently, and give you some analysis on the thought processes involved in this game and the reasons why I did certain things within the game. So straight up first, we're going to be seeing a Forge vs Jerome matchup coming down on Ashes. So your strategies tend to change a lot based on the map and things like that, with different leaders and different matchups. So you can change things up. Generally with Jerome, you'd open leader obviously, but because he's so expensive power wise, and I know for a fact a Forge on Ashes is going to be going Tech 2 Hogs, no doubt. It's like the only player they can really do. So essentially we're going to match that. So we want to grab as many minis as possible. It's a big map, so we're going to be opening up Jackrabbit. And we're going to move in all the way to the right hand side to collect that power over there, so we're close to the minis to be able to snap those up. So best thing to do here in this matchup is to grab as many mini bases as possible that you can afford, while also getting a double gen up and going into Tech 2 yourself. Obviously this is a risky play for somebody when you're playing against somebody who's going to rush you, but it's very likely at this level in Halo Wars that they are going to rush you on this map, because it will essentially fail and cost them the game. So we send a Marine through the teleporter. The teleporters here are really good at getting across the map to steal your opponent's minis, and I'm probably going to be expecting that he's going to be doing the exact same thing that I'm going to be doing. So as long as we get 3 minis to 3 minis, we're going to be okay. Obviously Forge is rolling eco. He's really good for upgrading pads. He's going to have a better eco than me, no doubt, so we need to do something about that. Make sure we're on equal terms, if not ahead. You see, we already grabbed 2 minis. We see the Jackrabbit in the middle of the map now, so we're just going to pick up the mini closest to our base just to make sure we don't lose it. Secure this big bundle of power. We're just going to drop mines on there just to make sure. Now, some people might think that this isn't worthwhile, but that power is worth 150 power, and considering I picked up 100 power on the right hand side as well, it means he's only managed to pick up 100 on the map. So because of that, I'm going to have 250, he's going to have 100 off the map, so I'm going to be ahead in that general perspective. And then I'm going to be going into a second generator as well. I've already collected all 3 of my minis, and don't worry about delaying this gen either, the second generator. So we're trying to collect as much resources as possible with our Marines. If you do see resources on the map and your Marines are idle doing nothing, then just make sure that you are picking it up, just constantly picking it up. It really helps your eco. So we're just trying to keep this Marine alive as long as possible. So stepping like this does dodge a lot of shots, especially against a Jackrabbit. So we're going to try and kill the Marine as well as the Jackrabbit there to give us a small advantage. So now we're going to get all the pads on all of our mini bases. No production except Marines, and we'll start taking some power nodes very soon. Going to get that scout out at 3 minutes. Slightly late on the scout, to be honest. If a rush is coming, they would be doing that, and we instantly scout that he's going to be going armory. So interestingly enough, he's going to have a Forge Hog quite early here, which means he's spending much more power on Tech 1 than I am, so I'm going to get into Tech 2 a lot faster than him, and I'm going to have more Hog numbers than him. The only difference between Jerome and Forge in this matchup is obviously the Forge Hog can drive around at the same speed as the Warthogs and gives a nice defensive aura buff on those, where Jerome, being an infantry unit, he can't really keep up with the Hogs and give them that buff throughout the game. So these early stages, we are just focusing on Tech 2. You'll see we're 100 power away now. He has a decent army. Looks like he's going to be going into Jackrabbits and Forge Hog. So that's going to give him the mobility to get around this big map, which is good from his side. And he's going to be harassing my mini bases. So very shortly, he's probably going to be clearing those out and have a huge eco advantage ahead of me. But what we're going to have is a unit lead, so we're going to have Tech 2 units well before he does, and we're going to be able to clear out those mini bases a lot faster than he can at the current time. With that as well, we can put on some map pressure, defend the power nodes, and also stop his expo and gain our own expo with those Tech 2 units to keep us alive. So we get into Tech 2, we start upgrading our pads now. We're going to delete the supply pad on the back mini so we can get 2 garages up a lot faster. Rather than putting 2 garages on your main base, They're going to be queued behind each other, so you can't double pump hogs immediately. We've got one turret up. We see that he's going to be making a push here, so we're going to have to put some defensive measures in place. Second turret goes up as well. And I think we go into an anti-vehicle turret because we're probably going to need it. If we did that. Yeah, there we go. The anti-vehicle turret goes down. Hog's going to start coming out to try and defend this. He's upgraded his jackrabbit, so he's going to be really far behind on Tech 2. So what's going through his mind right now is that he has to cause some damage to my base to set me back. Otherwise, he's going to be in a lot of trouble when my units come out. So we drop a salvo there. We're going to drop mines on the choke point there. He's going to waste a scatter bomb on that base as well. He really wants my generators. So he's committing everything he can to possibly do this. And if he doesn't get anything out of it, it's going to hurt his eco a lot. Now got warthogs coming out. It's only the Fortrog that we can't really deal with here, but he does drive into a few mines, which is going to help us out there. And we do have an anti-vehicle turret coming up. So far, all he's done is killed an armory. We're going to put some rams on the Fortrog, take his shield off, make him even weaker. Keep spamming units as much as possible to help deal with this. He's going to have to back his Fortrog out there. So he hasn't really hit our eco. So he killed a garage, he killed an armory. So we're pretty good here. We've got the anti-vehicle turret. Fortrog's red bar is going to have to back away. So that allows us to deal with these jackrabbits. Going to try and chase that down to kill it. Obviously, it's a really good unit for him. And he does have the mini base advantage, but aside from that, he didn't really do a lot with that push. It cost him a lot more to push that than it is for us. So we've still got that Marine Scout on his base. He doesn't have turrets on his base, and he's not in Tech 2. So this is our opportunity to actually take the map back and get ourselves even more ahead, and the opportunity to deny experts as well. Unfortunately, the negative bit is the Fortrog did get away. But we're just going to keep these hog numbers up, keep spamming them, retake the mini bases, deny his eco, and help our own eco. So we're going to get our hero out here as well on Tech 2, knowing that he's really far behind. Normally, if you have your hero out early, like on Tech 1, and you're keeping him alive, you'll generally try and get into Tech 3 as quickly as possible so you can upgrade that hero because they're very strong. And then you'll try and get 2 or 3 bases and go into Vultures. That's generally the UNSC play in the meta currently. But at the moment, we're playing the matchup, playing the player, clearing out the mini bases, stabilizing our eco. Okay, so we see him. He's coming down the middle now. He's trying to scout our expert basically. Doesn't know we've got the expert on the left. We're going to delete that anyway just to make it safe because all our units are over here on the right clearing out mini bases, so there'd be no chance of defending it even if he did see it. But we do manage to clear out those mini bases and we're going to continue to do so. We know he can't push our main base with the units he has because we have an anti-vehicle turret and our leader's coming out. So now it's just kind of a waiting game, delayed game, get that leader out as quickly as possible and create some harassment. We're going to scout the expos again. Notice that we portaled through to check that expo and we're going to send the Marine on to that expo as well. So essentially with hindsight, if we weren't distracted, we should have denied this expo a lot sooner. Of course it's a struggle with the Fortrog out and he's probably in Tech 2 now with his own hogs coming out. There we go, just see one there. We do scout that base. But we're still ahead on numbers. Alright, because we know he's going hogs, and we want to get into Tech 3, we're going to build an air pad, probably get some Nightingales, get our leaders to Tech 2, start getting some Hornets out to counter his hogs as well, and put some harassment on this base. Kind of don't want to lose these units. Probably overcommitting a little bit, but we do have support. We just need to be careful we don't get struck by an anvil round, and that's why we're just backing off, kiting his units. We know they're on the right somewhere. So still focus is clearing the mini bases to hit his eco, help our own, and we're going to get that expo up. So it looks like you forgot to build the supply pod on here, so we're just going to deny that a little longer. Focus the supply pod while it's building because it is weak. We know his army's right next to it, so we know we won't be able to actually kill the mini base. We're just going to deny that supply pod, do that. Going to go into double air pad now. Get our base online as soon as possible. And here come the vultures. And this is a big army from him. Our Jerome actually gets caught out here, unfortunately. The ram's going in, so it's struggling to drop his Mantis drop. And when he does finally come down, he completely misses. But he's just going to kite the mines, try and draw them in there to lose a few units. He's going to try and run away. Now, in the background, we're keeping him busy so we can get vultures online. Now, essentially, I wouldn't recommend going vultures this early. We're barely getting our second base online. Should have stuck to the hogs, really. But I think it pans out in the end. Just because of how busy we're keeping him. If we had no units right now and we couldn't keep harassing these mini bases and drawing him back, we'd be in a lot of trouble, because if he pushed main base right now, we would struggle to defend it. So we're just harassing with the hogs we do have left while we build this huge Vulture army online. We'll get our leader back as soon as possible. Jerome, he's so integral to your army with the buffs he has and the massive damage output. And the combos you can actually set up with the Mantis drop. You can Mantis drop mines, Mantis drop salvo, you got the turret drop, all sorts of stuns. So he actually scouts our expo here with the units he has, which is unfortunate for us because there's no turrets on it. But we're going to try our best to defend that as much as possible. We've even got vultures to wipe out some of this army. If they group together, the viability on the vulture are really good with the AoE. And like I said, the reason we're on the back foot now, we went into vultures way too early. We should have kept spamming hogs. We could have dealt with this army pretty easily. He does have to detect from the jackrabbits there. We're going to drop a heal to try and save the base, but the base does unfortunately fall. But we are going to chase the army. He runs into the mines, kills a lot of units there. Jerome just comes out in time as well. The vulture's going to be chasing him. Most of the army does get wiped. So despite that, we have a decent army now. We've got 3 or 4 vultures with the Y abilities. I mean, 3 or 4 vultures can kill his base, which is quite cool. Not cool if you're on the receiving end, but at the moment as well, our micro in the background is really good, clearing out these mini bases. We're going to be retaking those back while we're keeping him busy over there. So we killed most of his army, so we're going to be going for a little push as well. Gives us an opportunity to rebuild that expo as well. We're going to need the eco to keep up with these vultures. Little Nightingale just healing up stuff there. Regroup the rest of our army, pick up the mini bases to help our eco even more. The Forge Hog is the issue here, so we're going to focus him down. He's going to die, so he won't be able to give the buff to the units there. Vultures unfortunately get caught in the scatter bomb, but our Jerome can basically solo this army that he's got because there's no Forge Hog there. I'm going to try and bat the vultures out as quickly as possible, and while he's trying to chase the vultures, because he desperately wants to kill them, they're expensive and they can nuke his base. But while he's going to try and do that, Jerome's actually going to kill most of his army while he's trying to chase it, and the vultures don't actually die. So really good fight to take down there. And now our expo will be online very shortly. Which is where we really start taking advantage in the game. Now, Forge late game does beat Jerome's late game just because of the leader powers, such as like Scarbomb 2 is really good. You've got heal, you've got combat salvage, you've got heavy metal. All of these key leader points make units really good, especially vultures. In the current vulture meta, combat salvage with vultures is extremely strong. You fly up, you take out a base, and then you combat salvage. All of a sudden, you've got 8 vultures back at your base. You can go back and take out your second base. So his army's a bit overcommitted here. We're just going to drop a turret drop. This is the combo that I was talking about earlier. Turret drop to stun them. Great combo going down there. Turret drop to stun them. The mines going down with the salvo. That army has literally been obliterated. And these are some of the key aspects of Jerome that you need to learn and time to help yourself stay strong, keeping the game, especially when you're behind. If you can pull off great leader combos when you're behind, it works wonders. And because we have the Vulture lead early on, generally most UNSC mirrors are going to go Vultures. So we have the Vulture lead early on. And he's just wasted almost 3k blue on a Grizzly drop on the main base here, which literally isn't going to do a lot of damage. These vultures are going to clean up those pretty quickly with the Y abilities. Dropped on the Expo, they might have killed it, but not on my main base. An anti-vehicle turret as well. So there's Wolverines at the back there, but not in the right place. And we start focusing the Wolverines first because the Grizzlies can't kill our Vultures. Wolverines can. This is just some micro things that you need to think about in engagements. Make sure you're attacking the right units. I mean, the Grizzlies obviously do a lot of damage. They're expensive, but the Wolverines are what can kill our army. So just by killing the Wolverines first, we can clean up the Grizzlies anyway. And notice he hasn't killed a single pad yet. It does take that heavy pad finally. But that was a big expensive drop for him. 3k blue on that Grizzly drop. Lost all his Wolverines as well. And I don't even think he's built a single Vulture that I've seen at this point. Scout that third base while we're going to pick up ours. Help our eco more while we took out his army. So the best times to really expand like this is, say your opponent does a push like that and you basically wipe it. They have to rebuild that army, and it's going to take time to rebuild that army. That's the best time to expand. Even if you've killed their army with turrets and you don't even have an army yourself, and you've wiped out a lot, then that is just the best time to expo, because they're not going to be thinking about re-pushing you with no units, essentially. You'll get some players who like fake it and blag it, and they will push with like 3 or 4 Marines or something like that, but it should be pretty easy to deal with. So knowing he hasn't got an army, we're going to be pushing over to this third base. Don't want to let him get that online, because Forge does have a better late game and a better eco than us. As soon as he gets into Vultures, we might start having a big problem in this game. So we have to end it before that happens. And always look at doing something in the game. Don't ever be sat idle. Always be looking at your next move, thinking ahead, planning what you're going to do next. Too many times I see players just not building pads, not moving the units, not retaking the power nodes, things like that. All these things add up. They are incremental to winning in the late game. And a lot of players say that they're not fast enough to play and do essentially what I'm doing in this video. That just comes with practice. You just got to practice. The speed will come. Generally, if you know what you're doing, you tend to do it faster. So high priority target there. We take down the Vultures. Going to stun the Forge Hog because he's annoying. Salve on the Forge Hog there. Looking back at that, that's pretty much a waste. But even good players make mistakes. Especially when you're trying to play at a certain speed. Sometimes you just don't think straight. I tend to do that a lot. I somehow still win games. Alright, is that Forge Hog going to fall? Who knows? So avoid those Wolverines. Going to kill them with Jerome. Going to nuke his Vultures. Got to keep ahead on the Vultures. It's so crucial in these matchups. So there we go. Look at the mini bases now. Just from the bits we've been doing in the background, we've had 2 hogs clearing out 3 mini bases for the whole game. And this is where we start taking advantage of it. We now have 6 mini bases to 0, so our eco is going to be booming right now. We've got 3 bases, he's on 2, which means we're going to be able to produce a lot more Vultures than him, a lot more units when this catches up. Because this game has been so back and forth and pretty intense, notice we haven't got reinforcements yet, because essentially all of our supplies been spent on units at the moment. Managed to save our Jerome there. So now we're just kind of going to sit back, build our army of Vultures, get as many as possible. We've got Wolverines coming in the mix as well. I would always essentially mix your army up. If you're playing against Vultures, anti-air and Vultures are really good. 2 types of units in your composition is generally the best, rather than going all flat out one. especially since the Wolverines give detect as well against Nightingales when they're smoking the base. If you've just got an army of Vultures, it's really easy for your opponent just to smoke the base, delay it, and save the base for 10 to 15 seconds while they wipe out some of your Vultures as well, and then you might not have enough missiles to actually kill the base. So we're kind of just going to camp over on the left here, make sure he doesn't get that third base, and he needs to work on taking out those mini bases. He's leaving them way too long, uncontested, and I have upgraded supply pads on there as well. So now we've got reinforcements, the Vulture hammer's building. All we have to do is get enough Vultures, push, and we'll kill that base instantly. This is about the time where we're going to start getting fortifications upgrades. That's going to help us save our bases. Now, we see a push from him here onto our third base. Now, the third base doesn't really matter too much to us because we've got all the minis. So we're going to counter push him. Because we've got more bases than him, we can counter push, and it's more crucial for him to lose a base than it is for us to lose a base. So he's going to really struggle right now because these Vultures can nuke a base so quickly. Look how many anti-air turrets he's got. Going to just smash the Spartan morale there to counter that scatter bomb with the heal. Wildblit is going down on the base. We should be able to kill it pretty quickly. We have detect, like I said. He's just tried smoking the base there, and this is going to be game over. Look, almost killed the base. The base does fall, and that was just one mistake he made in this game to go for my unupgraded Expo and lose basically a base that he's upgraded to tech free. It was a 7-pad base that he just lost there, which is really going to hurt his eco considering I have all 6 mini bases. So if I had gone back to defend that Expo, I knew I was going to lose the Expo anyway. If I had gone back to defend, would have ended up trading armies and I wouldn't have been able to push. So I wouldn't have took that base. So killing that base basically just literally won me the game. So guys, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the information given there. If you do, make sure you hit like at the bottom. And also, it'd be great if you guys could send in some of your own videos so I could review like that. Best place to do this is probably through the Discord. You can message me on the Discord. The link will be in the description. So if you would like to do that, record some videos, send them in, happily review them, and probably upload them to YouTube as well for everybody else to see. And I can point out your mistakes, where you go wrong, and try and help you. Thank you very much, guys. Peace out.